Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some very crazy things where once again, the gaming industry and the overall general economy has been getting hit with a lot of big layoffs. Now, as you guys probably know, we're in a really kind of, I think, tech bubble right now when it comes to gaming, when it comes to big tech companies, think like the FANG companies and all of that. And it kind of seems to show that the economy is, well, strong. So we keep on seeing really big reports of like very low rates of unemployment, but in very specific subsectors that blew up and bloomed and throughout the entire COVID epidemic. At that point, it's gotten a little bit on the scary side because a lot of big companies are now laying folks off. We even had a video discussing the Twitch layoffs, but now there's even more bigger game layoffs. Some of the bigger even companies such as Amazon, Google, Duolingo, Discord even as well have now all been affected by these layoffs too. So we're going to go talk about this and talk about the scariness because right now, some of the games we might even love might even have a potential, well, not future due to the fact of them always getting laid off. So let's go talk about this all throughout this video. If you guys are bored, we're probably live up on Twitch. That is linked down below. If you guys want to say hi, we have the Twitter down below if you guys want to follow them. Of course, subscribe if you guys are new. Let's dive on into the video itself. So, as you guys probably know, there's been a really big wave of layoffs, as I just mentioned. Some of the bigger companies have been kind of bigger layoffs also than expected. We've kind of seen like a little bit of turbulation, or the stock market as a whole is doing pretty good. Like it's pretty comparable to all-time highs, and that's good. You always want to have your economy and stock market always be potentially growing. So overall, the economy in terms of stocks is doing okay. In terms of pure unemployment, things are doing okay. In terms of also inflation, although I think a lot of folks, you guys probably watching would agree, have not been a one-to-one where it's actually going down, but in terms of statistical data, apparently inflation has been being somewhat dealt with, and we also have a chance to potentially lower down the rates we have right now for interest rates. So in the theory, the entire everything should be good. The government says it's good. But at the same time, we've been seeing a really big tech boom that's now been booming off, where a lot of places are now facing layoffs. And I do think gaming would probably round up into the tech side, on the media side, and we're seeing a lot of big things now happening. So as of today, one of the more bigger companies such as Gearbox, if you guys know, Gearbox did go and do stuff with Borderlands, has now been not doing so good. So employees say a sizable portion of Gearbox-owned studio has now been officially laid off. All disciplines at all levels have now been officially impacted. We've also been seeing other stuff in terms of like crypto stuff, bank stuff, in terms of big tech company stuff, all being laid off as well. So on Friday, layoffs hit the Lost Boys Interactive, a Gearbox-owned developer that's employed over 400 people, with the full scope of the layoffs remaining unclear. Former employees are saying a sizable portion of the company was let go and describing what happened today as massive layoffs. Numerous ex-Lost Boys employees have taken to LinkedIn to share this regrettable news. This also came right off of we saw a huge, like multiple hundreds of people at Twitch even as well getting laid off as they try to go cut off the bloatware in the gaming sphere, let alone say Bungie layoffs, PlayStation layoffs, Xbox layoffs, Google layoffs. It seems like a sizable portion of the Lost Boys Interactive was laid off today, including myself, wrote Jared Pace, a producer at Lost Boys. Still trying to understand the scope of it all, but sadly this is a song and dance we're all familiar with. Pace told Aftermath that layoffs affected all disciplines at all levels. As of this publishing, Gearbox and Embracer have not replied to Aftermath's inquiries and the total number of employees impacted. So Lost Boys Interactive was founded in 2017 and has contributed to games such as Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, Diablo 4, The Quiet Man, and in 2022 it was acquired by Borderlands creator Gearbox, at which point it boasted a HUD count of over 220, and then Gearbox nearly then doubled Lost Boys' size prior to today's layoffs. But much has changed since 2022. Embracer, which owns Gearbox, bet the house on a $2 billion deal with the Saudi investment group that fell through in 2023, and ever since, its many properties have been laid off or hit on a near monthly basis. And this is actually now once again included in all of this, and things like Gearbox and Embracer Group are really big mega conglomerates in the gaming sphere. And it kind of goes to show that there's been a huge influx of games as a whole, and the economy itself is also doing really bad. Multiple laid off Lost Boy workers described the company as a great place to work and lamented this sudden random conclusion. It was an absolutely fantastic time full of challenges and beautiful friendships, wrote one of the art directors at Lost Boys. If you see anyone from the Lost Boys looking for work, grab them immediately. This week alone, Unity also has laid off 1,800 people. And we even made a comment on this too in our prior video. If you guys missed it, go watch it, where we even saw that Unity was still a multi-billion-dollar company, which also goes and is crazy to go and see. But right now, typically, when you have these companies that are potentially having issues in terms of revenue and all of this, the first thing they usually do to funny enough, try to prove that their company is strong is laying folks off, because that's one of the easiest and fastest ways to go cut direct costs. It actually has an instantaneous reflective on everything in the company. Twitch also did go lay off 500 people. Discord as well laid off 170 people, and now there's been at least dozens over here too as well, and that's just going to be a lot more folks also chime on in with things like PlayStation, things with Xbox, Microsoft, etc. And this is why I want to go bring up other stuff, because even places like, let's say, like Discord, which has been a really big company with a lot of investment funding too as well, saying that the CEO Jason Citron said the company grew headcount too quickly. And it's been the big overarching issue with all these companies. They had a huge like productivity boom, and also probably user base boom, concurrent user base boom as well. Something like Discord, I'm sure a lot of folks in the pandemic started using, whether they're gamers, they're trying to talk to your friends, schools. I even saw some school groups, and it's kind of a nifty thing. I wish I had this when I was in school. People would make like Discord servers, and they'd have like their entire school in this sort of Discord. Like, it's kind of dirty, but I think it's be kind of fun just to go and see gossip or play games or like talk to people. If anyone's bored, you kind of say what's up and hang out there. If I was currently in high school myself, I'd probably be hanging out there. Why not? Why not? I'm nerdy enough. Sure, why not? But it's crazy to go and see because people have been laying off everywhere. Discord has laid off 70% of its staff, a move that CEO Jason Citron said is meant to sharpen our focus and improve the way we work together. The cuts were announced today to employees in an all-hands meeting. An internal memo they've obtained, and had 170 people out there too as well. So Discord isn't apparently in dire financial strats, maybe, though it has yet to become profitable and is still trying to retrieve user growth after a surge in the pandemic. And that's kind of the same issue we had over here with Twitch, where Twitch also had a huge influx of brand new people being involved. They had a huge influx of like just users, number one, but at the same time they also had to hire new people when it comes to marketers, when it comes to sponsorship folks, when it comes to maybe chat moderation, when it comes to user moderation. And at the certain time, like when those viewers leave, or those also streamers leave, because the numbers have been impacted since 2022 and even 2023, we're now seeing a bit of a downwards trend towards a lot of tech. Everything's just going even rough. So saying we grew quickly and spent our workforce even faster, increasing by 5x since 2020. As a result, we took on more projects and became less efficient as how we operated too as well. Now we also even had other different types of cuts too on top of this when it comes to say like Amazon, Duolingo, Google, which I'm sure you guys have heard of, and it's all just the start of 2024. Or 2024 as a whole is going to be very, very scary. So hundreds of employees were cut from major tech companies this week, including at Amazon, so separate from Twitch, although it is owned by Amazon, and some Amazon employees were also affected by it. That also led to a lot of folks being kind of careful and scared about the fact that Amazon also might be getting rid of things such as like the Amazon Game Studio, or even things like Twitch Prime for streamers. I'm a streamer. If you guys have an Amazon account, link that with your Twitch account and go and subscribe if you guys would like. And it kind of puts a really bad kind of put towards everyone's mouth over here, because Amazon also cut several hundred employees at its Prime Video and MGM Studios divisions, following a review of nearly every aspect of the company's business operations, including a memo obtained by Forbes from Mike Hopkins, the senior vice president of Prime Video, too, as well. So Amazon has still been doing good. Like, their stock has been doing fine, but in terms of everything else, it's been rough. Like, they're cutting off all these small subsidiaries with this one. Google also did lay off hundreds of employees across several divisions, including its engineering and hardware teams, as well as employees developing its voice-operated virtual assistant, Google Assistant, and as well. So even, it's kind of funny because all these big places are doing layoffs, but their stock is actually doing better than ever. A lot of these places, even look over here, Google went up at 2.85%, which, like I said, makes sense. Usually that's actually good for stocks. You're spending less money on bloated employees, and although it's bad for the general vibe, general consensus, the tech consensus, whatever it might be, it's all around rough. Also had Duolingo. This also slashed 10% of its contract employees too as well, as the company's pivoted towards relying on artificial intelligence for content generation, which is also kind of just rough to go and see. Although Duolingo actually has gone down in terms of shares, it has been kind of an interesting internet meme, and people are curious on it, but at the end of the day, it's just not been like the most profitable company too as well. Also, other AI companies are also getting affected by this one, where maybe the AI boom kind of hit and it's now kind of somewhat stabilizing, where they had to go cut 4% of its workforce too as well, which is only like 10 employees. But even then, it kind of goes to show that even AI, which has been kind of like the big, talk of the town, especially for 2023 and probably going to be 2024, has now been seeing even more stuff laid off too as well. So we're kind of seeing all these types of things like Unity, Discord, game companies as a whole. And don't forget, we also did have layoffs at Bungie. We also had layoffs at even other PlayStation studios, although not many of the biggest ones. They were still hiring. And even Xbox had to go and get rid of a lot of folks, say, working on Halo in the Xbox division, although that was more of like a pure Microsoft as a whole. But obviously at this point, like Microsoft owns Xbox, so it makes sense to as well. And also even big things such as Universal, which you would think would be seeing record profits with this big Taylor Swift push, and the music streaming are also facing layoffs too as well, which is crazy to go and see. So going into 2024, it seems like especially the tech and tech gaming industry as a whole is very, very, very kind of in trouble. Like a lot of games are not really making as much money. The big AAA games are costing a lot of money as well. Marketing is huge, and everything else is very scary at the end of the day. So I want to hear your thoughts and comments. Hopefully none of you guys will be affected by any layoffs in the near future. And fingers crossed, well, you guys won't. Make sure you guys are subscribed, notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch room down below. Go hang out on Twitch. We're probably live right this second. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching here in the first place.